Two of today's craziest shonen anime might be fooling you. Is there actually some substance behind all of Dandadan's madness? And what about Sakamoto Days? Is it really as badass as its protagonist?
Certified badass.
The truth is, one of them is absolute cinema, while the other a huge disappointment. Do you know which is which? I've watched both, and by the end of this video, I'll show you why one feels like the true successor of the great shonen, while the other risks being forgotten. So go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe, because today is the day I open your eyes about these potential giants of the new generation. Seibaa! Before putting these two head to head and exposing where one shines while the other stumbles, you need to know or remember their premises. Sakamoto Days follows the daily life of the former greatest hitman in the world and his family, mixing creative action with hashy stunts that would make even John Wick look as round as the moon itself. Meanwhile, Dandadan seems to hit the gas and throw away the brakes, telling the story of teenagers dealing not only with new feelings and changes in their bodies, but also with the wrath and especially the lust of supernatural or extraterrestrial beings. What? So despite being about a killer with a bloody past, Sakamoto Days carries a chill, laid-back vibe for anyone to enjoy, while Dandadan thrives in frenetic chaos, something that can either win you over or push you away depending on your tastes. This difference in pace gets even clearer when we look at their protagonists, who interestingly enough are duos in both anime. On one side, two former assassins, Shin, the telepath who sweeps the floor with Anya, and his mentor, Taro Sakamoto, a family man just trying to relax after being domesticated by Kobeni from Chainsaw Man. On the other side, we've got the almost couple of Okarun, a nerd stripped of his most precious belonging, and Momoyasu, a hot-headed girl full of attitude but with questionable taste in men. With that, Sakamoto Days leans into a partnership, mentorship, or even father-son dynamic, while Dandadan makes it crystal clear from the start. This is a romance in the making. But talking about the main characters is not enough. They're just the tip of the iceberg. And here's where you might get tricked, because something crucial that can hook you or make you quit this anime is the world they are set in, and how other characters breathe life into it, being able to make you more engaged in the narrative or wanting to turn off the TV. Starting with Dandadan, we have a wild mash of pervy aliens with metal bananas, vengeful spirits who just wanna play Just Dance, and whatever monsters the author feels like throwing in. Not even poor Godzilla gets a break in here. That keeps things fresh and surprising, but also makes you question what direction the plot even wants to take. And that's why the side characters are so important. They're either crazy enough to take on the supernatural circus, like this Pick Me Girl or a PSG fan, or they're actually the insane creatures shaking up our main couple, and making you wonder if there's a limit to this madness. Sakamoto Days, on the other hand, should feel grounded, revolving around a secret society of assassins. But in practice, even without official superpowers for most of the cast, everyone has a screw loose and pushes their abilities to absurd levels, defying logic so much it would make any Nobel-winning physicist rage quit, or making you question how seriously you're supposed to take this story. So from now on, the difference between these two will become even clearer, because now is the time we see how each anime works, nailing or fumbling the combination of all the elements I talked about. But before that, don't forget to comment which is your favorite.
I hate otakus.
Dandadan doesn't hide from the beginning that it's aimed at a young audience, blending well various elements such as action, comedy, drama, horror, and romance in a peculiar way, though a bit tainted by the excessive ecchi of the first episode. And if you think that aspect will disappear,
Achou errado, otário?
after all, let's be real, the whole point is to recover a kid's balls. The thing is, that element becomes less grotesque over time, turning into a part of the anime's identity. It connects directly to its world building and the romance dynamic in the making. That's why it becomes another piece in the good chaos that is Dandadan, even if not everyone will enjoy it. In Sakamoto Days, on the other side, fanservice also exists, but it's done in a much more tasteful way. In reality, its madness is of a different kind. Here, the focus isn't on teenage hormones, but rather on older characters, retired assassins, mobsters, and eccentric figures weighted down by heavy past. Not that the anime dives deeply into that weight. Things usually swing toward comedy, either by pulling off impossible action stunts like stopping bullets with some sticks, or cracking bad jokes about Sakamoto killing his pupil. Either way, Sakamoto Days is quite pleasant when it leans into creative action and light comedy. It's perfect for watching without thinking too much, except there's a tiny detail that might ruin the experience. Its villains may be disposable and episodic, but they create quirky situations that bring another fun day with the Sakamotos. The problem is, this randomness never set clear rules for what can or cannot happen, so at any moment, someone might just pull the solution straight out of their This wouldn't be so bad if the anime stuck to goofiness, but sometimes it wants to be taken seriously, and that's when you don't buy into it. And you know what breaks immersion even more? Scenes that make even less sense than usual, like these absurd ones. There are 2 moments when characters should at least get hurt from a fall, but they walk away completely fine. In season 1, Taro and his future wife use snow like a Minecraft water bucket, and in the second, this girl suddenly turns into the seamstress from The Incredibles and wipes up a giant parachute out of nowhere to save everyone. Let me show you what really should have happened in at least one of those scenes. And it doesn't stop there. Despite the no-killing rule, Sakamoto constantly does things that should send others straight to the coffin, but it just doesn't happen because plot. Meanwhile, Dandadan makes it clear from the start that it's a festival of supernatural weirdness, so nothing feels out of place. Everyone has strange powers or abilities, so instead of asking if things make sense, you're wondering what the next madness will be. The action is also pretty creative, but here it comes from specific powers, like Okarun's sprinter moves, or from characters' personalities, like Gigi turning his love for football into a combat skill. On the other hand, Sakamoto is so overpowered he feels like a walking Deus Ex Machina, solving everything without effort. I honestly feel Sakamoto Days works best when focusing on Shin, since we actually see his limitations, struggles, and the human side of someone who, despite the powers, is not invincible, just like the hero from that show. But that's also restricted by the anime's world, which isn't bad, but it isn't very original either. No wonder the John Wick comparisons are everywhere. And I go even further. Some story beats feel like straight up copies of other works like Ratatouille.
I killed the man with this thumb.
With Dandadan, things are different. Even characters that seem disposable are reused in clever ways, making the world feel alive. Besides, they also help balance out the story's drama and comedy. So while the Assassin's anime has whole slice of life chapters that don't add much to the narrative, the crazy one might look the same at first, but later surprises you by giving meaning to simple moments, while also using them to grow the main cast's relationships. That's why we get those cringe-inducing everyday moments with Momo and Okarun, because they strengthen their friendship than their romance, while also getting closer to the rest of their dysfunctional crew. In contrast, Sakamoto's family and aggregates vibe feels like a Toretto Sunday barbecue. Everything is family. A family in which a total stranger can become a relative in just a few chapters. And the worst part, no matter how hard I ship these two, everything points to her fitting better with Rocky Lee. Now, neither of these two anime is known for having a super story, but the way they handle their main storylines is worth mentioning. In Dandadan, the goal is clear. We gotta catch Okarun's boss, but it often detours into exploring new characters or evolving the ones we already know in surprising ways. Meanwhile, Sakamoto Days reviews its story little by little, stacking up interesting figures that help with the world building, although most need more development to be memorable, something Dandadan doesn't struggle with, since its protagonist already won over many fans. Can you even imagine a dog dressed as Sakamoto? Exactly. That's why Dandadan leaves a mark on those who buy into it. It's an action shonen with a sprinkle of drama and the heart of a rom-com. Besides, on top of that, it delivers everything with style and fluid animation. Unfortunately, the same can't be said for Sakamoto Days. Its animation isn't bad, but it doesn't reach the level of the true giants of the genre. Its real strength is in the lightheartedness with which it portrays the assassin world. In the end, Dandadan may be chaotic and shameless, but that's what makes it a memorable anime. It also blends other elements in unexpected ways and makes them work, proving that it isn't just madness, but also packed with creativity and identity to spare. Sakamoto Days, however, is fun and pleasant, but shoots itself in the foot the moment it tries to be serious. That's why it's a disappointment. Not as badass as the Keanu Reeves franchise, but also not as boring as a generic action movie. Meanwhile, Dandadan is absolute cinema, with everything it takes to be remembered as one of the great shonen of this generation. But now I want to hear from you. Would you rather chase after Okarun's balls or become just another extra in the animated version of John Wick?